folks, and welcome to the Pit of Doom TV. I'm your host, Learned Rob, and today we're going to be discussing a film which has become a bit of a favourite of mine recently, and that's Terror Train. Now, Terror Train is a 1979 Canadian-made stalk and slash film, or slasher film if you prefer, that was directed by Roger Spottiswoode, or Spottiswoode depending on how you want to pronounce it. Now, if you think that name seems familiar, he went on to direct an entry in the Bond series later in his career. However, at this point, he was still toiling away making exploitation films. Now, the reason this film is quite well known is because of its star, one Jamie Lee Curtis. This was one of those films that she made in the late 70s and early 80s that cemented her as the first of a new generation of scream queens, following Halloween, and was followed up with Prom Night and The Fog. Now, Terror Train has quite a simple story to tell. A year prior to the events of the film, one young man was left deeply disturbed after a hideously cruel prank where he thought he was about to get laid goes wrong when he discovers it's actually a dismembered corpse and finds himself going mental. Now, all the people who took part in this, including Jamie Lee Curtis's character, who appears to be the only one that has any sense of remorse, congregate a year later at college to go off and have a nice New Year's party on board a rented train. On this train are a huge number of students in fancy dress, which of course provides the killer with ample opportunity to disguise themselves, as well as a magician, here played by David Copperfield, making his big international debut, the magician's assistant, and a few members of staff. Now, obviously, the killer is at large, and the killer starts to take revenge on the people that left them in this state of psychosis. However, no one knows who the killer is. They have no clue, they have no guide, because everyone's in fancy dress, so the killer can literally be anyone. Ultimately, they figure out who the killer is. It turns out it's the magician's assistant, who is actually the male pretending to be a female, and getting away with it quite well, because the first time you watch the film, I'd be surprised if you kind of made that twig yourself, because the makeup and costuming and hair is really well done, and the actor that they chose to portray the killer does have a bit of an androgynous look to them. Obviously, our heroine ultimately survives to live through the night and dispatch the killer, and that's all you need to know about the film's plot. It's a fairly standard stalk and slash plot, albeit compressed onto a very limited stage in it being a train. Now, with it being on a train, this gives you some great opportunities for some set pieces, and also allows for a certain amount of tension to be created simply by the claustrophobia inherent in train carriages. For example, towards the end of the film, one of the lead antagonists finds himself locked in his own cabin at his own request because he thinks it's safe. Unbeknownst to him, he's trapped himself in there with the killer, and of course the killer makes himself known and kills him. Now, I enjoy Terror Train. It's not the greatest slasher out there. It's not a Halloween or a Friday the 13th, but it is a cut above many of the others that were made around the same time. In fact, I would say Terror Train sits right at the top of that second tier of slasher movies such as The Burning, Prom Night, and it's befitting of its legacy as one of Jamie Lee Curtis's Scream Queen films. Now, to say I do like this film is an understatement. In fact, I have 3 different editions of the film on Blu-ray. First off, I have this, which is the UK Blu-ray release on the 88 Film Slasher Classics collection. It's quite a nice little package, got a lovely set of extras on here. Following this, I have this beautiful French media book style release, which comes in a DVD sized case but features a wonderful fold out with a Blu-ray and DVD copy of the film plus a little leaflet to go with it. This is from Rimini Editions. They've done a few of these. There's also a wonderful one of Hell Knight that I have, which will also get reviewed on this channel. And the final copy I have is this really rather wonderful edition from Scorpion Releasing in the US. This is the most recent re-release and featured an entire new print of the film taken from source. You can't really tell the difference in stills, but when you see the film in motion, this is the best the film has ever looked, and it's a lovely little package with this beautiful new artwork on it, and also the original artwork as well. Now, if I'm going to rate this film, I'm probably going to rate it a good solid 8 or 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's still damn enjoyable. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble on for the last few minutes about Terror Train. I'm Learned Rob. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, all helps, and I will see you on the next Pit of Doom TV.